I'm Ben from Autism Neurodiversity Coaching. I'm here today to explain how COVID-19 can affect people on the autistic spectrum. Now, some people think that autistics may be struggling during this time. Some may think that they're actually quite enjoying it. And the truth is, it could actually be either or both of those things. Now I'm going to look at some examples of how autistic people are affected differently during this time. I'm also going to give some tips for parents, carers, friends, family members on how you can actually help people on the spectrum. You may need to give them a lot of support, you might not need to give them any support. And the difference is everyone's different on the spectrum. It's a challenging time for everyone. I think the key is that for autistic people, because they're quite different, or we're quite different in general, it could be hard to find out how each person is dealing with the situation. I mean, for example, there's social anxiety. So an example of how someone may be struggling currently, someone who's autistic and may be struggling with the coronavirus, is, let's say they go to daycare, say twice a week, and they go at the same time every week. What this could do is, it could mean their routine is disturbed, because obviously they're not going, so what this can do is bring on anxiety, and they can display this anxiety in many different ways. So they may be angry, they may just be quiet, they may not be saying anything, they may just shut off from everyone. They may be really frustrated, so constantly frustrated. They could be upset, they could be upset all the time. They may be pacing around. It could be all of these things, a mixture, or it could be some other factors as well. Now, ways we can support these people as parents, or carers, friends, family, etc. is one way is to engage in similar activities with them as what they would normally do in the daycare. So you might not be able to do the exact same thing, but you can adapt and do similar things. And if you do it at the same time as what they normally do it could ease anxiety a bit, because they still feel like they're doing the same sort of thing as what they would normally be doing. So by doing it at the same time, it will just ease anxiety, and it might take the mind off the fact that they're stuck at home and they can't go out and go to the daycare. Now, another thing you could do, which is quite a simple, a lot easier thing, is just to reassure them that their routine will go back to normal once the corona is sort of finished officially, and everyone can go back to the normal lives as such. So another example, now bearing in mind these are just examples that I've sort of come up with, everyone's different, and some of these may apply to people you know, and may not. These are just examples. So another one is, you could have someone that's actually happier during the lockdown, they're actually enjoying it a lot more than what they would normally do. Now, this could be because they don't enjoy the job, and they're happy to actually be away from work. Now, we don't want people to be in that situation, but that's how it happens sometimes. Now, they may still care about the job and the people that they actually work with, but they just don't enjoy the job for various reasons. The environment that they work in could be overwhelming. It could bring on a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. It could be anything. It could be a busy office, and they could be sat in the middle of the room and they hate it, but the bosses are not sort of listening to them. If they want to sit in the corner, they may not sort of listen to them about that near them. Now, they may be coming across at the moment like they don't have a care in the world, and they actually want lockdown to continue for as long as it possibly can. Now, this may cause problems. People may think that they're coming across as selfish, as uncaring, like I say, but they may have valid reasons for that. They could be treated unfairly at work, as I've said. They may not have an environment that's suitable for them. It could be worse than that. They could be getting harassed at work or singled out because they are different. It might only be a few little differences, but they could be sort of singled out, and they may just want to get out and have time off. They may be enjoying this moment. It may come across like they've got no remorse of being off. They may even think, they're still getting paid, so they don't care about that because they don't enjoy the job, and therefore they feel like the conscience is clear as such. Now, in most cases, they probably are nice people, and like I say, they're probably just getting treated unfairly at the moment. Now, in terms of how you can actually help them, one thing is to not make them feel guilty for enjoying the lockdown as such, because they're probably going through hell the rest of the time, so they feel like they deserve a bit of a break. So don't make them feel guilty for that, and also don't challenge them for being uncaring or coming across as uncaring. They probably are very caring, but they may appear like they're uncaring. So don't challenge them on that and say why you're being like that. Just be there for them and appreciate it. So another example we could use, we could have someone who's depressed. It could be because their routine's disturbed. So for example, they may go and buy a magazine every week. Maybe part of their routine, they buy the same magazine every week. They also see the friends on a Tuesday. For example, could be any other day obviously, but every Tuesday they see the friends. Of course they can't do that, so again it's part of the routine and they can't do that. They may go to the cinema, they may have one of those monthly cinema passes, and they go regularly every Wednesday, whatever it is. They may go swimming. Of course all the gyms are closed, leisure centres, so they may not be able to do that. Now as a result of all this, they may have less purpose in life, not being able to do the things that they want to do. They might not want to get up every morning. It might be a real chore, a real struggle for them to get up. They may be moody and distant with their family, be very sort of non-engaging, non-committed to conversations. Like I say, just don't want to engage in anything. And it could feel like their sort of world has ended, or the world has ended, and as a result of their world has ended as well. Now, a few things you could do to help them. One is to just support and be there for them, just in general, just be there for when they're having the moody times, or they don't want to talk, just try and appreciate that and be there for them. You could try and do something fun. Obviously it's always good to do something fun anyway, but do something that can engage them, something that might get them sort of excited about getting up in the morning again. It may not replace going to buy the weekly magazine or any of these other things, but you can just bridge the gap for the time being. Now in doing so, I would advise to approach this tentatively and to prepare for like a potential backlash, just in case you say to them, do you want to do X, Y or Z today, and they snap at you and say no, I don't want to do that. Just appreciate that could be the response that you'd get, but it's not taking to heart at the same time. And just on that, just make sure you look after your own health as well, because if someone's being really moody and distant with you, doesn't matter whether they're autistic or not, it's not good for you either. So just try not to let it get to you basically, and it's not them purposely doing that to you, it's just how they're being affected by what's going on, and they don't know how to process it, they don't know how to act any other way. So it's not their fault, but it's not your fault as well, so you're both in it together. Now, one thing I would advise not to do is to say what a lot of people have been saying, and to say to use this time wisely. A lot of people are saying you can use all these weeks and months that you're off to learn new skills and stuff like that. It's good to do that, but a lot of autistic people might not want to do that. So just appreciate that, if you say that to them again, approach it tentatively and don't sort of have a go at them and say, oh, you could be doing this, you could be doing that, why aren't you doing this? Because it could just drive a further wedge between you, and just try and appreciate that they're going through a routine which is broken and they're struggling with it more than what most people would. Another example is you could have someone that's sort of got really high levels of anxiety due to just the uncertainty of everything what's going on. So because of this, they could be fidgeting more, something I do quite a lot. They could be aggressive because they don't know how to handle what's going on, they can't comprehend what's going on. They, depending on where they are on the spectrum as such, they could be quite aggressive. They may be stimming even more than what they would normally do. They could be shouting, some of the aggressive side of it. Again, they could be pacing up and down. They could be less talkative, or the reverse of that, they could be more talkative, where they're just non-stop talking because they're constantly anxious. They're wanting to know what's going on, they're wanting to find out the answers to everything that's happening, which obviously not anyone can actually tell us what's going on at the moment. No one can say that. So they may be constantly questioning everything, asking what's going on, and sort of just trying to make sense of it all and finding something so that they can become calm again, giving them a reason why they can live their life as normal as possible. And because of uncertainty and everything, they may be really worrying and stressed out about it. And in relation to this, they could be sort of overthinking it all as well. They could be thinking, what would happen if this happens, and what would happen if that happens, and it could all sort of connect. They could be joining the dots, and then it could be making them more anxious because they're overthinking it all. So just generally, they could be anxious and stressed out about it all, and just really panicked and worrying, basically. So a few things you could do to help. I mean, it doesn't mean it's going to magically make everything better, because they could just be firm on their answer that until everything's sorted out, then they've got to be anxious and they can't sort of carry on. But what you could do is just one thing is to reassure them that there is a high chance that everything will go back to normal. We just don't know when it will go back to normal. We don't know how long it will take. It could take days, weeks, months. Obviously it won't take days, but it could be next year. We don't know, but at some point it will go back to normal. Can't guarantee that 100%, because obviously you don't want to give them wrong information, but the high chances it will go back to normal at some point. So just try and reassure them and say, look, there's nothing you can do about it at the moment. This is the way it is, and we just have to adapt the best we can. And just fitting into that as well, there's no point sort of worrying over things that haven't happened yet. No point thinking, well, if this happens and this will happen, because we don't know what's going to happen yet, so we can't say this will definitely happen, so there's no point overthinking it. But at the same time, sort of reassure them that you understand why they're thinking that way, because if you just dismiss it and say you're being daft or silly or anything like that, then that's absolutely the wrong thing to do. So just say, I understand it's a tough time for everyone, I understand why you're struggling with it, but just do the best you can. Even if it means just getting up in a day and just having your food and watching a bit of TV, it might be a success for you that particular day. And that's the main thing, just to do the best that you can. Now they're all just examples that I've sort of come up with, don't apply to anyone particularly that I know. So they may apply to some people that you know people. It's just there to give you a general guideline of how the coronavirus could be affecting people on the autistic spectrum. Now, I've got another example to use. It's got dark in here, looks a bit dark when I first started, but anyway. So the last example is a bit of a personal experience, should I say, of coronavirus and someone being autistic. Experiencing that. So whilst the coronavirus has been happening, there's been a few success stories, should I say, or a few good things to come out of it. For example, people are doing a lot of video calling, Skyping and stuff like that. Obviously Zoom has been used a lot more lot more than it used to be used, because people can't go out to socialise. They're calling people, video calling, Zoom in, whatever it is. And they're doing all these sort of things so they can stay in touch with people, and so they can still see people, and they're not there with them, but they can feel more like that. Now that's great for a lot of people. It's not particularly good for people who are autistic. Not to generalise and say everyone hates it, because that's definitely not the case. But from experience of reading forums and speak to other people who are autistic, a lot of these people have the same opinion as what I do as well. Where, like I say, Zoom and things like that, they're great for business, they're great for connecting with friends and family, as is Skype normally, and FaceTime, all those sort of things. Now it's great, but if you're autistic, it can bring on the opposite effect, where it just brings on more anxiety and more stress than what you started with. Because, I don't know why I'm talking like that, but basically, say if you've got a friend and they say, do you want to FaceTime tonight? Now, normally I would just get out of that. I would just think of an excuse. I don't want to do it. I'm busy washing my hair, whatever it is. Well, it's not washing my hair, but you get the drift. And just find a way to get out of it. But now the virus on, I'm getting more and more of these calls, which is great. Shows I've got friends and stuff like that. But it just brings on more anxiety and stress for me, because I don't want to be doing FaceTime. Ironically, I'm doing a YouTube video when I look at people, but not actually look at people. And it just brings a lot of stress on. And the reason a lot of autistic people struggle with it, well, there's some reasons you can't explain, some you can, but I prefer face-to-face speaking, as a lot of autistic people do. A lot of autistic people hate being on the phone. Slightly different reasons to Skype and FaceTime, but just the idea of seeing someone's face there and speaking to it, it just feels weird for a lot of autistic people. And I mean, I can do phone calls are fine, I don't have to see them then, so if I'm fidgeting or I'm doing whatever, I don't have to worry about what they're seeing. Whereas if I'm face to face, I'm more aware of what I'm doing in front of them, whereas if I'm sort of on the phone, it's like I might forget that I'm doing something, and I don't want people to see that. So yeah, it just brings on a lot of stress for some people who are autistic, and obviously with the virus going on, everyone's doing Zoom, everyone's doing Skype and FaceTime, and a lot of autistic people are having to think of excuses to get out of it, rather than just saying, I don't want to do it. Now some people just flat out say, I hate it, and that's fine. That's easy to do that, but a lot of people don't feel like they can do that. They have to think of excuses and go through all these circles. So my advice would be, just if you're a friend of someone who's autistic, or a family member, Uncle John, or whatever you are to the autistic person, just be mindful that they may hate that sort of thing, but they may feel too polite to actually say that. So they end up just doing it and feeling awkward, or they make up excuses, or just don't answer the phone, or whatever it is. So yeah, just be mindful of that. Look on social media, and loads of people are doing group chats and all this sort of thing, which is great, and it's great that you can do that. You don't want to, it's bad enough you're isolated as it is anyway. You don't want to be further isolated by not being able to see your loved ones. But like I say, just be respectful that if someone doesn't want to do that, you don't pressurise them into doing it, or think you'll question why they don't want to do that. Just stop and think. Particularly if you know they're autistic, then they're at a higher chance in general to be more negative towards that sort of thing. Now, again, because autism is different for everyone, some autistic people actually they'll love doing stuff like that. And I don't hate doing it. It's not something I'm comfortable with and I necessarily enjoy doing. But once you're in it, sometimes you forget a bit and you enjoy it a bit, but you're still conscious to some degree of it. So, like I say, some autistic people may actually love it. They may be completely not blind, but blind to the senses of sort of being conscious and worrying about it. They may not care at all what people think or say, which is great. they may like them, they may be on Zoom calls all day or Skype or whatever. But like I say, just be mindful that some people may not like it, and just respect them for not wanting to do that if that's the case. So that's everything I was going to go through today. Like I say, all these examples, ones I've just come up with, there's plenty of examples I've not included, missed out, and some of these things may not apply to autistic people. Some people may be loving the virus, well, not loving the virus obviously, but loving having time off and just being able to shut off from the world, whether it's work, whether it's busy social life, which they enjoy, but it sort of tires them out at the same time. Some people may be hating it because they want to go back to normality, whatever their normality is. Some may be in between. Like for me, for example, I'm a bit in between. I'm sort of, part of me wants to go out and socialise and see friends and see people and do the normal things, go to gym, all that sort of thing. But part of me is enjoying sort of going back to basics and being able to walk around. You can do that anyway, but a lot of people go in cars most of the time. It's nice seeing people walking about, walking down the park and all that sort of stuff. It's nice seeing that again. So it's like with autism and like with anything, it's hit and miss. Some things are good, some things are bad. But just appreciate some autistic people may be dealing with it differently to what you expect them to deal with it. Some people, autistic people, may not be watching the news. They may not be keeping up to date with what's happening because they may just shut off from the whole world. So in that case, just give them an update of what's happening. Don't berate them for not keeping in touch with the world. Just update them. Say, oh, Boris has said this today, etc., etc. Right, thanks for your time today. Appreciate it.